What's up, everybody, and welcome back to the final game of the Grand Finals of the MSI Overdrive Tournament, a LAN tournament held in the Philippines, sponsored by MSI. And MSI must be feeling pretty happy that their namesake, MSIEvoGT, has made it this far to the Grand Finals, and they have brought the streaking ApplePark squad to a third and final match. And this is winner takes all, so hopefully both teams will bring out their A game. And spoiler alert, right just now I'm going to discuss a bit of the previous games before we go into the pick ban analysis. So if you haven't watched already games, I'll put them in the sidebar over here and over here for games 1 and game 2. So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. After a very sloppy game, ApplePark managed to convincingly take it over MSIEvoGT. MSIEvoGT didn't really have a game plan at all. They went for pretty much an all mid-game lineup headed by a Queen of Pain and a Panda, but their Queen of Pain didn't get any support, so she really was not very effective. Meanwhile, the puck of ApplePark along with the Dragon Knight just tore through the MSIEvoGT squad and managed to secure themselves a victory. In Game 2, MSIEvoGT played much more deliberately. They managed to get their hands on the DK and the Fairy Dragon themselves, and they played much more deliberately. They clearly had a game plan. They pushed very early, they got a lot of map control, and they won convincingly with a final score of 19-2 against ApplePark squad, who I don't think they had much experience against that sort of playing style that MSIEvoGT was breaking out. But this trend seems to indicate that, hey, Puck and Dragon Knight, they're pretty good, the double dragon syndrome. And already we see MSIEvoGT saying, okay, we don't first pick, let's ban out the Dragon Knight. But that leaves an ApplePark open up to a Puck pick, and I've just been constantly stressing that I think Puck is such a useful hero in the Pinoy scene, because he's very mobile, he holds heroes in place, allowing or preventing them from escaping, and he has the 3-second silence to prevent people from spamming spells, which we all know the Pinoys love to do. Instead, we see a Morphling being picked up by MSIEvoGT, so they've already made some of their game plan clear. They're going for a mobile lineup who has very potential late game threat. And we can see what ApplePark is thinking as we see the usual constant chat things, which I heard was about a lot of sponsors and a lot of shoutouts, but I don't know. It looks like spam, and it makes for observing, just me personally, a little bit annoying because all caps and just constantly cutting up the screen. I mean, I didn't catch first blood one of those times, or I did catch it, but it was hard to tell the action. But anyway, enough of my rant. Let's go into the pick ban analysis. So who's left in the hero pool? Well, Puck, like I said earlier, Queen of Pain, a very common Filipino pick. Also, we see that Panda's still in the pool. Invoker's still in the pool, but Invoker has not been picked nor banned in these past couple of games, just because I think he requires too much time to get going, and Filipinos are not afraid to gank other lanes. And if Invoker gets ganked, if he loses some of that experience, since he devotes so much time and energy in just getting him farmed up, then he really loses some effectiveness if he cannot get fast levels. He does not become a powerful ganker, but if you get him to the level 12, level 17 range very early on, then he'll become a force to be reckoned with. But I think the action in the Filipino scene just does not favor those sort of fast levels. So we're going to see a Queen of Pain and Rubik opening up by ApplePark. I'm not really too sure about this choice because we immediately see MSIEvoGT respond with a Puck counter pick, and Puck has just been worth his weight in gold. Dang, tongue twisters all the way. Shouts to Roberta. As we also see a Shadow Demon counter pick. So we already have the makings of the MSIEvoGT trial, and you have Morphling with Shadow Demon, Puck and solo in long lane, or probably the top solo safe lane, which is so often the case in the Filipino. They like to throw their solos up against each other in this top Scourge lane. Meanwhile, they put their Trillions against each other in this bottom lane, where the Scourge has more room to maneuver, but of course the Sentinel has the safety of their tower. And that's the price you pay when you go into those Trillion picks. But just going back to the Queen of Pain, we've seen that Queen of Pain has not been effective at all in these past couple games. Between the last couple games in GST July and in just a couple of the MSI Overdrive matches that I've casted, Queen of Pain, if she gets harassed, she's pretty much useless as the late game approaches. She tends to go for questionable items, at least in my eyes. We've seen her rush Aghanims, and then we've seen her rush Bloodstone, instead of usually the standard Linkage here, which I can understand more, because Queen of Pain doesn't really need too much mana regen until she picks up the Aghanims, just because their spells require some of a cooldown. But ApplePark decide to stick with their guns. They're going to go with the Rubik and Chaos Knight pick. Now, ApplePark is one of the few Pinoy teams who like to solo mid with their Rubik, but I do not think that this will be the case today. At least it's too early to tell for now. Meanwhile, ApplePark, they are leaving themselves open to get some of their favorite heroes. They like the Shadow Fiend being picked up. They like the Centaur as well. Centaur worked very well, and Shadow Fiend was instrumental in their victory over Badburn, although Shadow Fiend did not work out for them in game number 2 versus MSI EvoGT. But they farmed up their Chaos Knight very well against Badburn, and their Chaos Knight was definitely, in my opinion, the MVP of that game just because he got very early on farm, was able to tank a lot of spells, and just able to be a menacing threat in a lot of team fights and ganks. And I think that's the proper way to play Chaos Knight, is if you just let him farm early on, just get him levels so you can get a bigger mana pool without devoting too much item expenditure to increasing that mana pool. That is to say, do not go for drums, do not go for arcane boots, just get levels so you can increase the mana pool just by the strength of leveling up and getting more intelligence that way. And so, what will MSI UGT do? They decide to ban out the Earthshaker, a very common Triline hero. That might have been the essence of the ApplePark Triline. They might have wanted to pick up the Earthshaker, but I think they'll want some range to protect their Chaos Knight. And range will be very important in dealing with Puck, Shadow Demon, and Morphling, as ApplePark decides to ban the Axe. Now, we've seen Axe in some of these Pinoy games, and I'm quite honestly befuddled by the Axe picks up. He solos mid, usually against melee, even against range, like Queen of Pain, and he does well. And then the mid game comes, and he's pretty much useless. Like, he's garbage in the mid to late game stages. I don't think he's a garbage hero. I think just the playing style does not suit him. I mean, he's an overall effective chaser, but he's mostly picked for the laning, and laning's all well and good in the Pinoy scene, but it really comes down to the mid-game chasing and ganking teamfights. And X doesn't really get all the mid-game items that he needs in order to get that. And once he does get that, then he just blinks in and becomes fire to all the immense amount of burst damage and the physical right clicks of the hard carries. So ApplePark decided to go for it. Well, there's still a Shadow Fiend, there's still a Centaur, there's still a Weird being picked up. I doubt we'll see a Centaur, just because Centaur is such a strong tri-lane hero, and they already have a Chaos Knight to deal with them. So I'm really doubting that we'll see a Centaur being picked up by the ApplePark squad, but still Shadow Fiend is available to them. They could go for some more range support. They could go for a hero like maybe even a Weaver, just to give them some more solo versatility. They could have Queen of Pain solo mid, and Weaver could definitely give them some late game advantage. But I think right now they want to get some burst damage up on their side with some magical damage, just to bring down the squishy heroes of the MSI UGT squad in the form of the Shouty and the Puck. Meanwhile, MSI UGT, they're thinking long and hard. They still have to get one final hero for the try, and they decide to pick up the Thrall. I like this choice because MSI UGT, they played the Thrall pretty well. Usually I like to get Thrall more levels, but in the last game, MSI UGT made the Thrall Weaver uh, Rubik Trial work very, very effectively against the Soul Beastmaster. I mean, triple range against Beastmaster works well in any situation. But Thrall, it really made its impact felt. Stack Storm combined with Kinetic Field, especially combined with Dream Coil, holding everybody in place and then trapping people with the Stack Storm and the Kinetic Field, just became a nightmare to deal with for the ApplePark squad. So I like this Thrall pickup by the MSI EvoGT squad. Meanwhile, we see a Shadow Shaman being picked up. He's definitely going to be support Shadow Shaman. I really doubt we'll see a solo mid Shadow Shaman. And dual lane Shadow Shaman I'm okay with. Tri-lane Shadow Shaman, I can't say I like it too much, just because the propensity of Filipino supports to roam. Shadow Shaman, not the best roamer because he's very, very slow. He has a channeling disable that if another roamer comes in to get the stun off, he won't be very effective. He needs to also get that max Ether Shock and of course a decent level of Serpent Wards before they become free gold in the mid stage of the game. And we see a Panda being picked up for the last pick for MSI UGT, picking up their solo mid. A solid overall mid pick, but Panda has not been too successful in the Pinoy scene as of late. Heroes are just too mobile, and Panda's just losing his effectiveness, but hopefully we'll see the Scourge squad use him to a great effect. You know, ApplePark, they're thinking long and hard. Will they go for some more tank? Will they go to secure the tri-lane? Will they go pick a solo mid-hero? I think we'll see a solo mid-hero and see Shadow Shaman in the tri-lane. I'm guessing we're going to see a Shadow Fiend being picked up by ApplePark just because they have a lot of disables in the form of Rubik, Shadow Shaman, Chaos Knight. So they aren't really lacking in disables. They're not really lacking in their tri-lane because they have their solidified tri-lane. And they have their long lane already, so they're going for mid-solo. And I'm going to expect to see a Shadow Fiend being picked up by the ApplePark squad, just because they've been known to use that. And Shadow Fiend has been reasonably effective. Against Badburn, he was very effective. He managed to get to his late game items very well, despite being harassed so heavily in lane. He just went to jungle, farmed the treads, BKB Lothars, and then just went on a tear from there. Got a lot of kills, managed to farm his other carry items like Butterfly, Manta. So, Shadow Fiend, he has a mixed success rate for the ApplePark squad in these past games, but we'll see if he can bring it up That's what I'm fully expecting. If I don't see a Xiaofeng being picked up by ApplePark, I'll be extremely surprised. And one thing that I can say against Xiaofeng is that, okay, it didn't work very well against the Scourge team in the last game that we played. Do we have sort of a roaming supports that can help the Xiaofeng out for the early game levels? We don't really have an Earthshaker who doesn't really steal experience but can just stay back and have the fissure. So overall, if MSIEvoGT were predicting a Xiaofeng picked up, banning the Earthshaker was a smart move to do. And looks like we're going to see a winner being picked up, so just throw all my predictions out the window. I'm completely flabbergasted. So we're going to see solo mid windrunner or solo top windrunner with Queen and Pain soloing mid or top. Maybe we'll even see a support windrunner and have Xiao Shaman solo the main lane. I think I'd like that more, just because windrunner, she doesn't need too many items, in my honest opinion. She just needs levels in order to get her experience up and get that shackle shot. But right now we're going to see Queen of Pain going to the mid lane, windrunner going to the top lane, and we're going to see supportive trialing of Chaos Knight, Rubik, and Xiao Shaman on that bottom lane. So let's introduce the players in the team's ApplePark on the Sentinel. We have KMS playing the Xiao Shaman, Chaos Knight, who played a magnificent Chaos Knight against Badburn and also was a Centaur player in a couple of these games. Cao Cao, who's pretty much the utility role, plays Pucks, plays pretty much any hero Beastmaster. He's playing the Windrunner on the top lane. Agent Y, the support player, playing Rubik on the bottom lane, and Lorchan, the solo mid player, playing Queen of Pain, and usually plays Xiaofeng, but instead he's playing Queen of Pain in the mid lane here. Meanwhile, on MSI UGT, and too many sponsor letters, we have K1 Mo playing the Thrall, Rara playing the Panda, Tak playing the Shadow Demon, Doc playing the Puck, and Nage playing the Morphling. So we'll see how this game decides to shape up. Let's see if we can find any smoke in the seats to indicate any early roaming. No, Xiao Shan just going for traditional wards. And this doesn't really indicate too much, but this indicates that Xiao Shaman will be sticking in the lane, which in this case I have to agree with because you really want to get Xiao Shaman to get as many levels as soon as possible. And I think why ApplePark did not go for the Xiaofeng pickup was because they were lacking the Earthshaker, and Earthshaker is a hero who can protect his mid lane solo with on the back of the strength of his fissure, but he's also a strong mid lane support hero in the fact that he does not steal too much experience because fissure has such a long casting range and a casting duration. Meanwhile, Roster reveals the fact that he does have a Sentry Ward. Does Thrall have any Sentry Wards that he ward? No, looks like KMS is just going to ward it up. So mid lane, Queen of Pain versus Panda. Panda should not usually have a problem in this lane. He should have overall base damage to harass, but Queen of Pain is not really in any threat of being killed by the Panda, and we can already see Rust coming in to throw down some early harassment against the Panda. So I think once Panda picks up the body, he should be A-okay. Meanwhile, there's a huge engagement up top, which I completely missed, but we saw Windrunner get disrupted and wave formed, and just died to a duel lane. I wonder if what was Windrunner's first skill? Well, I guess we'll find out very, very soon, but this dual lane top of Morphling Shadow Demon, I like dual lanes a lot more in these Filipino games just because their heroes require so much experience, and we're seeing a lot of roaming early on already. Rasta's roaming very, very hard, and meanwhile Thrall is just going to be supporting the CK, or where is Thrall? Thrall, where are you at? Oh, he's supporting the Panda on the middle lane, allowing Panda to farm up to the bottle. And once he picks up the bottle, Panda should be just fine, and Thrall should be going back to support his other lanes and allow them to get more security and hopefully get to a higher level early on. Meanwhile, this Ross is doing a nice job in terms of counter warding, allowing the winner to roam a bit more freely. Chaos Bolt has been leveled up to level 2. Chaos Knight is just free farming it up 8 and 3. Already level 3. Might pick up an early ring of Basilius just to go for some early push to pressure this Puck, but looks like he's not. He picked up Boots of Speed instead. Might indicate more early on roaming action and leave his Rubik in the lane to support and get some experience. Or it just might be, hey, I like Boots. Who doesn't like Boots? To be quite honest. You know, Morphling 8 and 2 is just going to farm up, going to try to get his Ring of Aquila as fast as possible. And then just completely free farming up. Go for the Lincoln Sphere into Manta style. Very common Morphling build in both Dota 1 and in Dota 2. So we'll see how this late game stage start to turn up as we see Thrall and Shadow Demon migrating to the top lane. But Windrunner does have the Sentry Ward, so I guess she's still way too afraid of this top lane. Meanwhile, Ross is going to come in. Can they get a kill on Panda? A couple more right clicks as Rubik went in for the roam. And will Rubik fall? Here comes the clap. Panda with a nice juking action will be able to clean up the Rubik. A little bit of over-aggressive play, and I'm not really too sure why Agent Y decided to cut around this way rather than just going around that way. He exposed himself to the Panda, and exposing himself to a Panda is never really a good situation. Those Pandas, you can't really trust them at all, ever. Morphling turns on his Ring of Obsidian is going to push this top lane and really hurt down this Windrunner. Windrunner gets Glimpse back, and so Thrall has picked up an interesting build. He's going to cast Thunderstrike and Glimpse, and managing to pick up an easy kill on that Windrunner on the top lane, and now the tower is in a lot of danger of being taken down. So this overall just hurting down the tri lane. This is why we see tri lanes sort of die out of favor just because of early pushes, and this is why we see more dual lanes in the Chinese scene and the European scene. So maybe we're going to see the Filipinos decide to adopt this tri lane strategy just in general, because losing towers very early on is not really too conducive, and of course your side lane hero, like Queen of Pain or like a Winner or like a Puck, of course, cannot do too much, and they're heroes who all need a good amount of experience. And unfortunately, as much as it's been hyping up Puck, he's not been able to get too many experience and too many levels, so he might not have as big a mid-game impact as I'd expect. But right now, just judging on the base of the lineup, I think MSIEvoGT have this. They have a strong team fight in the form of the Panda and the Thrall Disruptor with the Dream Coil backing them up. And they have a hard carry in the form of Morphling, who pretty much out carries. So what should ApplePark's game plan be? Well, I think they should level up the Rasta and the Chaos Knight, go for some early pushes in the form of the Phantasm and the Serpent Hordes. Hopefully Queen of Pain will not die. Hopefully she'll have a bigger mid-game impact than in the rest of these games. But overall, I'm not really too sure about their lineup. I guess they're going to have to go for early pushes, and that's why Ross is getting so much experience, as Puck is going to get harassed, and the illusion will be dispelled. But no, Rubik's going to come back into the lane. I'd rather Rubik just roam a bit, maybe protect their Queen of Pain in the mid lane, maybe protect their Windrunner on the top lane, and just let Xiao Shaman get as much experience as possible, so he can get early levels of the Serpent Wards, because if with Chaos Knight, Phantasm, and the Serpent Wards, theoretically ApplePark should be able to push very, very effectively. Meanwhile, the top lane and the bottom lane are in imminent danger of getting their first tier 1 towers taken for either squad. And 4 heroes are on the bottom lane, meanwhile 3 heroes are being devoted to the top lane. So overall, looks like the MSI squad is winning out in terms of overall experience advantage. But looks like this tower will be taken first. No, what's his name? Nage managed to pick up the last hit on the tower of the Morphling player. So nicely done by the MSI squad. Meanwhile, Parks, the Chaos Knight, managed to last hit that tower as well. Will we see continuing pushes? No, it looks like we're going to see a bit of roaming. Now, Queen of Pain, one of the biggest problems she's had is that she's been pressured very heavily by the other mid lane solo because their range, either their Puck or an Axe or something like that. And she's just been harassed out of the lane, so she cannot level up Blink too very early on. And when Queen of Pain does not have a high level of Blink very early on, she's extremely susceptible to ganks. But right now, she's pretty much farming uninterrupted. She should have a couple levels in Blink at the very least, or at least one. And she's not using it aggressively to farm up, just using her passive harassment. So Queen of Pain should be set in this lane for a long time to come. Meanwhile, Chaos Knight is migrating to the top lane, picked up the Strength Treads, gonna give some extra move speed. Of course, Chaos Knight, second highest base move speed in the game, next to Luna. I guess Panthers, they're just faster than like demon horses or whatever this thing is. Meanwhile, Winner is going to be farming against Puck, the 2 sideline solos, just going to duke it out saying, hey, we both had a miserable time in these lanes, but Winner is much worse for the wear. 0-2, 0-3 in favor of MSI squad, and Puck is able to spam his aura, is going to keep bottle curling it up, and now he's going to be able to pick up much more easy farm. And a trademark of the MSI Puck, unlike the ApplePark's Puck, where ApplePark likes to go for early Dagon, MSI Puck usually likes to go for Magic Wand, Phase Boots or Treads, and then goes into the Blink Dagger. So they like to be a bit more aggressive in picking up the Blink Dagger rather than going for the all-out percentage in the form of the Dagon. So I'd like to see Thrall get some experience as well in the top lane, but it's not really a bad thing to do to get your Morphling to that level 6 so you can get that replicate. And Morphling is going to have to be a bit wary of this Chaos Knight with the help of the Shaman, and the Rick looks like a stun is going to be casted on the Morphling. Disruption is going to be casted as well. Connect Field, will the Soul Catcher latch on? Yes, it will on the Rasa. Nicely done. Nice place Soul Catcher. And a Connect Field means that KMS just melts in the blink of an eye. So good overall engagement, good baiting by the MSI squad. Clearly noticing, hey, we know what you're up to. Morphling's level 5. You're going to try to gank us with your Rubik and Xiao Shaman. But they just bait out. They got the disruption. Soul Catcher being casted way over here so that I could hit the Xiao Shaman right in the middle of here. And that's the mark of a strong Xiao Demon player, just knowing when to position that Soul Catcher and making sure that it latches on every single time. And of course, Kinetic Field with the Thrall is such a useful skill. Meanwhile, Smoke Gank is going to come in. Will they get a gank off on the Queen of Pain? Shadow Strike being used, and the Blink was used. Disruption is going to be casted. Meanwhile, the Soul Catcher is going to come in, and Queen of Pain is going to die as well. 0 to 5 in favor of MSI squad, and they are just carrying a lot of momentum on their side ever since that last victory where they won 19 to 2. And hopefully, ApplePark can give them a good fight. ApplePark not used to his momentum, but we see Windrunner just being ganked on the bottom lane with the Dream Coil and the Illusory Orb combined with the Wing Rift. So MSI just showing the mark of their experience, saying, hey, our sponsors are sponsoring this tournament. We better win, or else they're going to be mad. So, how will ApplePark respond to this? I still maintain in terms of team fight, in terms of late game, I think MSI have a better late game. But it all depends on how well this Chaos Knight can farm up. And it looks like they're not roaming or ganking very effectively. They did not intend to roam or gank with this Chaos Knight. And instead they intend to farm until he picks up a big item. And I like this decision a lot, because Chaos Knight with a lot of farm can stand up to some of the harder late game heroes. Just because he is strength, he has a passive crit, and he has a passive illusion skill. Once he picks up Manta style, those illusions do hurt quite heavily. So farming the Chaos Knight I do believe is the right decision. And I'd like Xiao Shan to pick up some levels just so that he can get a decent level with Serpent Ward so he can get some form of pushing on. But now it looks like Xiao Shan is going to stay the heck back. And this is what I don't like about Filipino supports. When they get down, they usually force themselves to stay down. That is to say, if they get killed early on, if they did not get very early on ganks, they just tend to stay back and allow their carry to soak experience, which is the right call. But early game, where your carries aren't doing too much, like the Queen of Pain, I'd like to see support at least at level 6 early on. Meanwhile, this roster is just going to try to sap as much experience as possible, but he has to be careful of the Panda, who can just clap in and get the ultimate off, ensuring an easy kill. Meanwhile, Windrunner having a miserable time, 0 and 3, died twice to the Morphling and once to the Puck. Looks like there's a mid lane engagement. Queen of Pain managed to escape in the nick of time. Shackle Shot going to be casted on the Panda. Queen of Pain does fall. Panda just splits, trolling up the roster. Static Storm combined with the Panda ultimate means that 2 more easy kills goes to the MSI squad. So MSI just looking extremely dominant at this form in the game. And how will ApplePark respond to this? Hopefully it won't be another stomp. But MSIEvoGT, after that very, very sloppy game, I mean, it was so sloppy that you heard me rage a little bit, which I don't usually do in terms of commentaries. But it was just such a sloppy game played by both sides, or at least by MSI's side, when I know that they're much more capable of playing a harder and better, overall, more composed game. Because they have won 2 consecutive GSTs in April and May. So they showed that they can definitely adapt to the situation, play a much more careful, much more deliberate, one could say much more Chinese style in game number 2. So maybe we'll see the return of that, and hopefully ApplePark are starting to realize, okay, this is starting to become high-level Dota. Let's see how we can respond. This is not all-out chaos, which we thrive in, where we just sort of employed Badburn and, Mineski and other teams like that. And in game 1, where we just sort of ganked all the time. Meanwhile, Disruption is going to be casted. Did Queen of Pain manage to get the blink off? Yes, she does, but Glimpse is going to be able to cast on Queen of Pain. Queen of Pain gets Soul Catcher, a couple more hits. Panda nicely times the last hit. 56 CS this early on in the Panda, and nothing is going ApplePark's way at the moment. Windrunner, abysmal farm, as you see the Crow staying next to them. The only thing that's going for them is that Chaos Knight is probably the highest farmed hero in the game, and he has not died. But we will see if he actually is indeed the highest farmed hero in the game. 64 CS on the Chaos Knight. Meanwhile, what you got, Morphling? 61 CS, gonna go for that Lincoln Sphere. And he's only about 700 gold away from finishing that Ultimate Orb, which means he's about 2k gold from finishing that completed Lincoln Sphere. Meanwhile, Thrall is level 7, so he's getting a lot of experience on the back of these ganks. Meanwhile, this is why I don't like Rubik level 3, Xiao Shan level 5, 12 minutes in the game. And these supports, they're just gonna be fodder towards even the other supports. Thrall just does a shit ton of damage. Xiaodun with the Soul Catcher will be able to melt these supports. And they're just going to become fodder. They're just going to become free food, and I'm not really liking the Xiao Shan being picked up in a trial lane. And especially as a roamer, Xiao Shan is not very effective just because he moves so damn slow. Second lowest base movement speed in the game. So we will see how the ApplePark squad decide to play this. Hopefully they'll be able to get an early Manta style up on the Chaos Knight, or maybe they'll go for some Magic Wand into farming up. But Xiao Shaman's still trying to desperately get any level he can, and now he's taking level up from the Windrunner. Meanwhile, Rubik, no hopes for level 6 by the 15-minute mark. He's just going to continuously roam, but even then, that's not going to do too much. I think at this point, you should get level 6 on the Xiao Shaman and hopefully just do some ancient farming with the Serpent Wards and allow Rubik and Xiao Shaman to get levels that way. So at least the lanes are freed up, and they can get a hefty amount of experience if they farm the Ancients that way. So MSI Panda has picked up a Blink Dagger. Let's check out the item progression. We already saw the Morphling. You're going to pick up the Alternor very, very soon. Puck, 700 gold. Phase Boots picked up the Bracers as well. Fade Ball being casted. Will there be engagement? Telekinesis casted on the Panda. Stack Storm already been used with the Kinetic Field, but Stack Storm, pretty short cooldown as an ultimate, so not too fussed MSI is in just using that ultimate just to scare away the opposing team. And now Rubik is going to finally hit level 4. 4, 13 minutes in the game, and now he's going to go back to base. What are they doing? I guess he wants to get full mana because he's pretty much useless without mana. I mean, all these illusions are going to get hit, but, you know, you need to get experience as a Rubik player. What more can I say? Puck, 1100 gold from finishing that Blink Dagger. Shadowmoon picks up an Urn of Shadows. Thrall picks up the Arcane Boots with the Bracer. Gonna go for that Jangle of Endurance, the traditional Thrall build. As we see a gank, Windrunner gonna get hit upon. Here comes the Glimpse, sending the Windrunner back in the other direction. Can they get the power shot? Unfortunately, they did not time or correct the blink enough as Queen of Pain gets Demonic Purge as well as Soul Catcher. Will they get a gank off? Sonic Wave being casted. Thrall gonna be the first casualty of MSIEvoGT to fall, but they managed to take 2 kills in that exchange. Panda Ultimate was used, and now they can push this tower pretty much with no regard for human life. With no regard for human life. Common basketball phrase. Meanwhile, angrily, the Chaos Knight kills the courier, saying, stop owning my team, guys. I'm not even in any of these fights. Can you please stop owning my team? Meanwhile, Doc picks up the tower. Going to be very, very close to finishing that Blink Dagger. And we'll go back to the items very, very soon. Doll, Drums, Queen of Pain, despite faring much better in the laning phase than other Queen of Pains, is still 0-4, and she's still very far away from finishing any sort of items. Picked up the Null Talisman, and in order for Queen of Pain to be effective, she does need farm, so now she's just going to steal a lot of farm from heroes like Chaos Knight and a lot of experience that way. So Queen of Pain not faring very well. Meanwhile, heroes like Puck, like Morphling, like Thrall just been showing how effective they can be if they get off some early ganks. Rubik has Jackal. Managed to pick out a magic one as well as getting wards, so that's a bit surprising. I guess that comes from the tower kill that they managed to pick up. Windrunner not very close to finishing any parts of the mechanism. Chaos Knight going for immediate BKB. I like this decision a lot just because there's nothing besides Demonic Purge that can go through BKB, and there's a lot of magical damage that's pumped out from the MSI squad. Meanwhile, Rasta does not even have boots, poor guy. As this is not looking up. This is not looking like a good game for the ApplePark squad. Meanwhile, as I try to recuperate my voice, doing a lot of casting recently, and there's a lot more games to come. Starlight Land Tournament in Dota 2. I want to get some games from that. As Soul Catcher gonna latch onto the Chaos Knight, is gonna cast Phantasm as well as the Illusion Rune. Get the stun off on the Shadow Demon. He's gonna die very, very fast towards all those illusion damage. But Stack Storm is casted as well. But looks like they do not want to take this fight. Panda has to blink in for the ultimate if they want to go for it. But I guess they don't want to fight without the Shadow Demon. Meanwhile, Morphling is content to just farm it up, picked up the Lincoln Sphere, is going to pick up an easy tier 2 tower, while 4 or 5 of the heroes of the ApplePark squad are going to try to take down this middle tier 1 tower. Which, I guess, MSI is content to let them do that. No, Puck blinks in with the Dream Coil and the Blink Dagger. The supports are just fodder to the Puck at this point in the game. Connect Field being casted. Did not latch on anybody. Looks like Puck died first, but Panda blinks in with the follow-up. Pretty late blink in by the Panda. I guess he wanted to get that double damage rune first. 1 for 1, or 2 for 1 in that exchange so far. Puck for the 2 supports, but meanwhile Chaos Knight is going to be the next one to fall. Can Panda split? Can Panda split? No, he casts the clap. Looks like split was on cooldown. And will Shadow Demon manage to get a kill? No, Shadow Demon's going to have to back the heck away. Shadow Poison is starting to be stacked up, but a support trailing Shadow Demon almost same level as the Soul Windrunner. Not looking good for the ApplePark squad. I mean, they killed the Puck very, very fast with the help of the Sonic Wave and the Chaos Bolt. And considering the fact that Panda was not immediately there for the follow-up initiation, consider the fact that Connect Field did not latch onto anybody. That was pretty much the worst team fight that MSIEvoGT have taken in a long while, and they still came out ahead. And that does not... It's not looking good for ApplePark, just to be brutally honest. So, again, I had to say, Puck, pick this hero if you are the Filipino scene. Keep in mind that in SMM, and for a bit of the How Fun Golden League, he was a common first pick and first ban by the Chinese teams and by the Filipino team, and then he just sort of dropped out off the face of the earth, like the Witch Doctor for the Chinese scene. But he's definitely a very, very strong hero nonetheless. Unfortunately, he doesn't really fit the European playstyle. He's not really very strong against pushes. His nuke has a pretty long cooldown, and he's a bit squishy in that regard. He doesn't really have. He needs a bit of farm as well. He's still a useful hero nonetheless, but he's not nearly as valuable as he is in the Filipino or in the Chinese scene. And hopefully one of these days I can get a Chinese replay of Dota 1 to cast so we can see what they've been up to in that game, but I don't think that day will ever come. Maybe not even until like WDC or SMM, where Dota 2 might be the prominent game in that feature. As looks like the Glimpse does not manage to last. Stagstorm is not going to do too much, but Panda does have the ultimate. Dream Coil is casted. Can they get the Shadow Poison? Shackle Shot latching on two heroes of Panda. Managed to take that full duration. Finally gets casted. Ross managed to get the Shadow Shot, killing Puck once again, but Ross is going to be first one on Sentinel's side to die. Meanwhile, the Panda ultimate just doing so much work. Rubik might be the next one to die. KMS, of course, the roster player did die, and the Penalty Illusion's going to be back, so nice job by ApplePark just weathering the storm. But Morphe is finally deciding to join the fight, cast a wave for him. Will he get any kills? Now he's just going to replicate out and continue his farm. So for the majority of these team fights, MSI have been fighting this 4v5 without any support from the Morphling, and Morphling's just content to farm it up, as Morphling should do. So, I mean, he's going to get that 120 CS by the 20-minute mark, so nicely done in that regard, as looks like Lord Chan, the Queen of Pain, did die, and Queen of Pain has just fallen out of favor so rapidly, at least in terms of effectiveness. That's very surprising. Keep in mind that when I was sort of coming back into the Dota 1 replays and casting a lot of replays for GMPJL and for the GST June, I did a lot of research, and a lot of the GMPGL replays past, Queen of Pain just pretty much was 20-0, 22-1, just went on a rampage. I was like, why didn't they ban this hero? But I think teams are starting to figure out, okay, we just kill the Queen of Pain in these lanes because she's very susceptible to ganks. Blink doesn't have the best range at level 1, and Queen of Pain does not level up Blink very early on until the late game, and if she does, she's not going to have a good time, as Stagstorm and Kinetic Field going to be casted on the Chaos Knight. Waveform going to come in for the cleanup kill, and now Morphling is going to go on the offensive for the Rubik. Adapt Strike, one more hit, will be able to pick up the kill. Looks like Morphling is going to morph everything in strength, but he does get Sonic Wave, so 1 for 1 in that exchange. A Chaos Knight for a Morphling, which I guess is a trade that ApplePark are okay with, but keep in mind Chaos Knight is pretty much the only hero who's doing reasonably well in this game, and that he's pretty much their only hope for the late game. Meanwhile, they have a couple heroes. They have, who do they have? They have Thrall, they have Panda, they have Puck, who can transition very well to the late game, along with the Shadow Demon. And considering Morphling already has the Lincoln Sphere and has 120 CS regardless of that engagement. So I think MSIEvoGT, not best trade they want to take, but they can afford to take it at this point in the game. Meanwhile, 4 towers have been taken by the MSI squad. Only 1 tower has been taken by the ApplePark squad. They've just been shut down. Well, Queen of Pain decided to go for it. Looks like she's going to go for either Lincoln Sphere or Bloodstone. Hopefully it'll be for Lincoln Sphere, because Bloodstone will not help you at all too much. You're just going to die and lose all those charges, because that's pretty much what it's going to come down to. And how much single damage spell? Well, there's a Lightning Strike, there's a Glimpse, there's a Drunken Haze, there's the Adaptive Strike, so not really too many single target spells they have to be worried about, no single target stuns. So I can see why a Bloodstone would be a bit more effective in this case, but I'm really not too sure. I think I'd rather her just save up for a straight Hex and then any sort of survivability. You know, it looks like Rubik stole the Thunderclap rather than the Primal Split. Unfortunate for the Rubik player, and now he's going to be the first one to fall in this engagement. Kinetic Field and the Panda Ultimate. Panda is not really microing the best, but he managed to pick up a kill nonetheless, and now Queen of Pain's going to have to blink out. Can they catch up to this Queen of Pain? Queen of Pain turns around saying, hey, where'd the Pandas go? And now she finds them, but still 1 for 1 in that engagement. They managed to draw out the Panda Ultimate, but still Rasta said, I want to feed with my fellow support Rubik as well. And Scourge is just looking so dominant. And I think they're just out-picking the ApplePark squad, to be brutally honest. Thrall has just been so useful in these engagements. That's been quite astounding. And Thrall's a bit of a gamble hero in Latrell, much like Rubik and I guess Shadow Shaman for that regard. Or Shaker. But when he does get going, I mean, his spells scale very well. Glimpse is one of the best, you know, cock-blocking spells in the Filipino scene, just because it's just like, oh, you escaped? Well, come on back. Shadow Shot latches on 2 heroes. Shadow Demon's going to get Reality Rifted along with the castable. Stackstorm going to be casting once more. Can Shadow Demon die? Yes, he's the first one to die. Meanwhile, Chaos Knight taking a lot of damage. Looks like Lord Chan managed to pick off Morphling in the midst of all that, so I don't know what Morphling is doing. Meanwhile, Puck blinked in, tried to catch a Dream Call, and he does die as well, as ApplePark managed to clean up the sloppiness of MSIEvoGT So ApplePark is showing that they're not down and out of this by any means. Picked up 3 for nothing in that exchange, showing that, hey, we're still composed. And keep in mind, I don't think Russ has dropped his sentry wards at all in any of these engagements, so they're going to be able to pick up this middle tier 1 tower at the very least, maybe even go for the middle tier 2 as well. And that was just a sloppy teamfight taken by MSIEvoGT, which is something I ranted on in the first game. But we'll see if they have the composure to maintain their dominance in this past game. But right now they're going to lose a tier 1 tower for free. Who picked up the Necrobook? Looks like, I think it was the Panda? Yes, Panda picked up the Necrobook. You know, just checking out the overall item progression. Yasha being picked up the Morphling, but ever since he picked up the Lincoln Sphere and started being more aggressive, he's died twice just because he's sort of waved in without any sort of support. Meanwhile, you can pretty much see what's going on. In terms of the items, Queen of Pain probably going to pick up a Lincoln Sphere, going to help her survive a bit longer, and it's going to be more effective in terms of surviving more than a Bloodstone anyway. It'll help against a Glimpse and all that. Just going to go for the S and Y. Maybe he'll split that into a Manta Style into Heaven's Halberd later, but Saint Yasha, pretty good item on Chaos Knight. I'd rather go for a straight Manta Style just so that he doesn't have to wait 100 seconds for the Phantasm cooldown before he gets that ridiculous Reality Rift damage. I think Manta Style is just a useful item on Chaos Knight. But one thing you have to know is that Chaos Knight Manta Style, I think, costs 150 or 175 mana, a ridiculous mana cost, which Chaos Knight cannot really afford at level 12. Meanwhile, Rasta has Jackal. Windrunner's picked up mechanisms, so slowly but surely, ApplePark are regaining their composure. They're trying to get themselves back in the game. But I think if MSI just farm their Morphling a bit harder and just play a bit more conservatively, they'll be A-okay. I think they just smelled blood and they tried to go in for the victory, but unfortunately, ApplePark said, we still are in this game, and now they're going to go for a Roshan. MSI is, and I think they'll be fine in just taking this down very, very easily. Morphling transitioning all his skills into agility just so he can do more damage and just get that Aegis much more quickly. Something that you should do as a Morphling player when you fight the Roshan. But they're going to trade a tier 1 tower for the Roshan. Might not even lose this tier 1 tower, to be brutally honest. No, looks like it won't be defended as MSI UGT, no teleports going in. And looks like Cow managed to pick up that last hit. Meanwhile, what is Queen of Pain saving for? 2900 gold, so she might just go for a Bloodstone indeed. Meanwhile, the Replicate is staying with this team, so Morphling's going to farm this top lane, then immediately replicate in for the team fight, one of the many uses of a Morphling. So strong as a carry. Meanwhile, Chaos Knight has picked up the Saint Yasha. We'll see, Rubik has Arcane Boots, so he's made some item progression. Windrunner going to go for that Force Staff. So, the item progression is slowly but surely starting to, you know, get some momentum for the ApplePark squad, but I don't really think that their heroes scale very well. The Queen of Pain has just not been very effective at all, and Queen of Pain is going to go for that Lincoln Sphere. Meanwhile, the MSI squad are going to push on the bottom lane. The Replicate just timed out, so that's unfortunate for the Morphling player. He's just going to have to farm it up. Woe is this poor, unfortunate Morphling. Maybe he'll get the 200 CS by the 28-minute mark, which is the standard gold, which is 7 or 8 CS per minute by that mark if you manage to hit that. But I do not think that will be likely. You know, the tower's taking a lot of damage from the Necrobook Illusions. Panda, what level is the Necrobook? It is level 3, so it's going to do a huge amount of damage, especially to the squishy supports like Rubik, even to Queen of Pain, and Windrunner, and the Shadow Shaman. You know, Morphling continuing his farming spree, and MSI saying, okay, we'll wait for our Morphling to get back in position. We'll just slowly siege down your tier 2 tower, and Morphling's going to pressure your top lane all the while. So we'll take this team fight when you are behind in terms of heroes. So MSI just playing this out very, very well. After that bit of sloppiness, looks like they've regained their composure. And we will see Glimpse going to be casted with the Stag Storm. Winner going to force stab herself up there, but it's still silenced by the Winger and the Stag Storm. Will she cast a Wind Run? She's going to try, but she's still going to die nonetheless to the last hit of Doc. Soul Catcher amplifying that damage by a ridiculous amount. Looks like Dreamcoil is cast on one hero, just Rubik, but MSI are not going to go on the offensive. And since they already used Stag Storm, Dreamcoil, looks like they're going to back up until those ultimates cool down. And lucky for them, those ultimates have pretty short cooldowns in the grand scheme of things, unlike the Pan ultimate. But Puck has picked up a mechanism for himself. It's going to be very useful in terms of surviving. Morphling picked up a free tier 2 tower for himself as a Manta Style. What will he go for now? 1300 gold in the bank. Might go for a Saint Yasha, might go for a Ethereal Blade. Ethereal Blade would not be the worst decision in the world. As Shadow Strike going to harass the Morphling back, but still Morphling is not afraid. of this measly Queen of Pain at this stage in the game. VIP Booster is being picked up. I like this build. I mean, we see ApplePark tank up as much as possible on the sports, going for double racers and things like that, but it's nice to see other teams doing that as well. This is a very Chinese way to do things. Just tank up your supports and allow them to survive more engagements, survive for much longer, and just get more spells casted. Especially here like Thrall, who can become so important, and Shadow Demon, who can spam those Shadow Poisons and just throw out huge amounts of damage in the team fight if all those poisons do stack up. So tanking up is definitely a strong way to go. And that build, taking a page out of uh, Chinese did this for a long time, just taking up their supports as much as possible. I mean, we saw the Chinese even go for many braces on Earthshaker and just instead of going for the Blink Dagger, just walk in with the Echo Slam, which is definitely an unusual way to go. But still, we'll see if there's engagement breaking out. Smoking to see it's going to be Popkin. Puck gets done. Looks like he's going to die very quickly. Morphin's going to come in. Telekinesis stunning Morphin for a bit of time. Looks like he's going to go in the defensive for the roster. Glint's going to send the Rubik and the Windrunner back in. And looks like Agent Y managed to pick up a kill. Morphin clean up the Shadow Shaman in the midst of all that. Now Chaos Knight taking a lot of damage. Panda Ultimate going to be casted. And if Chaos Knight dies here, is there another stun? Cyclone going to send the Chaos Knight up in the air. Where's the Morphling? Where's the Morphling? Morphling going to try to get another kill on the Queen of Pain as Shadow Demon is going to be the next one to fall. So 2 for 1 for the Sentinel, but Queen of Pain is going to be the next one to die. And Winner is saying, alright, I want to stick around, see how Queen of Pain died exactly. I mean, it looks like MSIEvoGT. We're surprised about the Lincoln Sphere purchase of the Queen of Pain, but Glimpse going to send the Winner back. Kinetic Field trapping the Winner in place. And Mana Burn and the Clap will just do too much damage. 3 for 2 at the end of the day in that exchange, because Xiao Shan just respawned. And all they lost was a Puck and a Shadow Demon. They didn't lose a Panda, nor did they lose the Morphling. Morphling did not even lose the Aegis Ghost Scepter, so Morphling is going to go for that Ethereal Blade, just instantly one-shot heroes. And he has Aegis, so he can afford to die once. So, nice purchase, I think, in this situation. Now Morphling is just going to meant to split up, going to go on the high ground. Can the ApplePark squad defend this high ground siege? Looks like they do not want to take this fight without the Puck. And keep in mind, Puck did not even cast a Dream Coil. Meanwhile, Thrall is going to be next one to die, but he's oh so tanky. They were forced to use a lot of spells. So, we shall wait to see what MSI decides to do. Will they wait for everybody to respawn? Thrall has 40 seconds on his cooldown. They have a Morphling, so they are perfectly happy just farming up and getting that Ethereal Blade. He's still about 1,800 gold from finishing that. Sorry, 1,600 gold from finishing that Ethereal Blade, but still at the rate Morphling farms, he will be able to pick it up very soon. Closing in on level 18, has ApplePark made any item progression? Chaos Knight has finished the stage. Yasha gonna go for a BKB now. I like this choice. It's gonna do a lot in terms of preventing the Dream Coil damage, Static Storm, just a lot of damage coming out from the MSI squad that BKB can nullify. Meanwhile, Rasta picked up a couple braces for himself. Winner picked up the Force Staff. It's been already utilized a couple of times against Dream Coil and Kinetic Field, but still, Glimpse is such an annoying spell. It just completely counters Force Staff. Ruik is slowly but surely getting iron progression. Queen of Pain gonna go for the Aghanim Scepter now. I think I'd rather go for Hex, but I guess she wants to get that ultimate up as many times as possible, and she's close to level 16. So I can see where she's coming from, but still, items like Hex will just be so much more important. If you can Hex the Panda or the Puck, and Puck's been dying a lot, as Puck's going to go for the ApplePark Dagon build to give himself some more burst damage, even though Puck's been dying a lot in these engagements. So I guess this is just a little bit of a troll against the ApplePark squad, saying, okay, your Pucks go Dagon, well, our Pucks will too. Meanwhile, Windrunner gets trapped in Dream Coil, as well as the Queen of Pain blink out A-OK as managed to pick up a kill on K1 Mo, but looks like Chaos Knight taking a lot of damage. Chaos Knight's still full HP. Shouting might be the next one to fall, as Chaos Knight is just becoming a menace in these games, but now the Purge is casted. Puck gonna blink back in. Shackle being casted on the Panda, but Chaos Knight gonna be the next one to fall. Look at how much damage Soul Catcher is doing, and Morphling just picks up a triple kill for free, basically 4 for 1 in that exchange. Only the Thrall died. Meanwhile, the only survivor was Queen of Pain, and we just see Queen of Pain not doing so well these games, so I wouldn't be surprised to see if we saw a drop off in Queen of Pain in the Filipino games, which is just shocking because she's been viable in that scene for like 2 or 3 years now. Still, I wouldn't be surprised to see her drop off because they have just shown that they can fight her now. And now it looks like the top lane barracks are going to be taken by MSI for free. MSI looking very, very comfortable in this engagement. Morphling just farming up very, very easily. Waveform ended after strike being casted. Unfortunately, Rubik manages to survive, but Puck comes in with the Dream Coil Chaos and morphing a bit more HP to strength. It looks like the Aegis might be timeout soon. Hex going to be casted by the Shadow Shaman on the morphing, but Morphing is going to say, hey, I might as well suicide, get rid of this Aegis. Picks up a kill. Nonetheless, he's just like, come on, kill me, guys. Please, please, just kill me. And ApplePark very happy to acquiesce, but unfortunately for them, Aegis is just trolling it up. Morphling was morphing stuff back into agility, trying to get an Ethereal Blade pickoff, but no, he's forced Waveform out of there. And that's going to be the end of that. They lost the middle top 1 Rex, and all they traded was a Morphling Aegis, who pretty much gave that away, and they took out the Panda. With still a Rax for, and an even trade in terms of kills, MSI are very happy to make this exchange. Morphing one of those carries who can provide pressure in several lanes at once, along with the Puck, who's very, very mobile. Morphling, how much gold you got? 800 gold, so I think he's picked up an item, or it's on the courier probably right now. Meanwhile, 207 CS, so his farm has slowed down, but still well over 6 or 7 creeps per minute. Meanwhile, Panda gonna go for the Aghanims, make his ultimates ridiculous, and the duration of the ultimates, I mean, I think that's the best part of the Panda ultimate when you pick up the Aghanims. It goes from 19 seconds to 26, and the cooldown is quite low when you are in Panda form for 26 seconds. It becomes like a 90-second cooldown since you're in the ultimate for 26 seconds. I think it's still a 120-second cooldown overall, but still very, very powerful stuff. Blink in on the Queen of Pain. Will they get some harassment? Queen of Pain just blinks out. Will they get the waveform Adaptive Strike cancel? Adaptive Strike, because Panda blinked it for the vision. And now Morphling is just cleaning up left and right. Queen of Pain died instantly. So unfortunate. Meanwhile, Puck is just rolling in. Casts the Winning Grip Dream Coil. Gonna try to kill the sportsman himself. What is he doing? Oh. He just did that to hold people in place. He's trolling at the moment. They recognize they have such a huge advantage, doubling up the other side in kills and some. Roshan is firm control of the MSI squad. Meanwhile, Thrall has picked up Vanguard, so he's going to be very difficult to bring down. So, MSI is showing that they are a team that cannot be underestimated. They were not the 2-time GST champions for nothing. They showed that they could defeat teams like Orange, like Bad Burn, like Mineski when they still had Jules. So they are a very strong team. Even Stars Bobo when they were playing a bit more seriously. So MSIEvoGT probably going to take this tournament, and after a bit of a rocky start, after a scary game 1 where they just looked so bad. They looked bad in that game, guys. I'm not going to deny it. They just looked really bad. But now they're looking good. They got them beer goggles on. At first they looked bad, but the more and more as you progress, you get those beer goggles on and you're looking oh so fine. As MSIEvoGT are starting to do. So I'm going to see being popped. And one thing I noticed about Pinoy teams, even when they're ahead, they just pop Snow Seeds just so they can be more aggressive. Chaos Knight's going to die very, very quickly. Morphling picking out a monster kill. Going to be close to getting beyond godlike. So I do not see too much of a way as Puck picks up a killing spree. And I think this game is pretty much over. I'm calling games a lot sooner than I used to. I think Loomis is just left rubbing off on me. So, Earth Level 4 Panda. Look at this. Let's see how long the cooldown is. Oh, your cooldown will be in 95 seconds? That's fine. So, overall analysis of this game and the series, I think ApplePark just sort of got themselves outmatched as long as MSIEvoGT play a bit more carefully, as long as, because I think ApplePark are more used to playing more chaotic because the Filipino teams just like to do that. Meanwhile, MSIEvoGT, they switched more of a deliberate style focused on winning lanes. And one thing that they did extremely well as a GG is called, so we'll pull up the final score screen rather than, wait for that worthless Warcraft 3 hero screen to come up. I'll pull it up and pause the replay here. But again, ApplePark, I think they're more used to playing the chaotic team style that Pinoys like to play. They're a very young team, I think. I have honestly not heard of them. They are not even invited to GST July just yet. Maybe they'll qualify in the open qualifiers for one of the last slots. But they're going to have to adapt because Dota, you can play so many different playing styles. And I think the Thrall pick sort of threw them for a loop. I mean, Thrall Glimpse was just so useful. But I think the biggest factor is just how much success. I've casted 4 replays from the MSI Overdrive. and Puck is 4 for nothing. And I think Puck is really a hero that the Filipinos have to start taking seriously as a band. I mean, Queen of Pain is just not faring well against all these heroes like Puck. So I think as long as MSIEvoGT played composed, played solidly, and one thing I have to notice, that was sort of the brain lapse I was having as I was discussing the endgame content, is that MSI, rather than other teams who are just content to farm the trial when they have such a clear advantage, they wanted to push. So they pushed down towers very early on and allowed pressure, and also allowed, okay, Morphling has a bit more room on the other lanes to farm up, and he's a very mobile carry, so he can just waveform out, replicate out. So going for those early pushes, getting tower trades whenever possible, knowing that, okay, we have the better late game anyway, so we'll go for those tower trades, and it was extremely beneficial to them, and they utilized it very well in those last two games. So MSI Evo GT making MSI proud in the MSI Overdrive tournament, winning the tournament. I think the prize pool was around 1 grand for this LAN tournament. I'm not too sure, um, but maybe I'll post it in the description below. But still, they looked oh so dominant in those past two games. I mean, they were like 19-2 in the last game, so if you just add it, they were 54-16 in those past two games. Ridiculous kill score, as and the ApplePark squad, it just did not look very sharp. And I think the reign of Queen of Pain might have just ended. The reign of Queen of Pain might have just ended. She's not building team items. She's building Lincoln Spheres, Bloodstones, and Aghanim Scepters, which do not help the team. All they do is help you. So I think Queen of Pain will start to fall out of favor, quite honestly, because heroes like Puck, Dragonite, Morphling, Shadow Demon, Thrall are just more useful than heroes like Queen of Pain, in my honest opinion. So that's going to end the Dota 1 replays for the next week or so. Um, I looked at the show matches. They did not look very competitive at all. Um, Jay versus Jules. But I don't think I'm going to be casting those. I think I'll wait for GST July to start up before I can cast more Dota 1 matches. But there are many Dota 2 matches to remain. The Defense 2 is starting to kick off into its knockout stages next week. Star Out of Land tournament is going on as I speak. So I'll be bringing you some games to those, and hopefully I'll get some more time to finish my projects. But as always, thank you all for watching, and please remember to support me by subscribing, by also following me on my Twitch. That's one of the fastest ways to support me, so I can get a Twitch partnership and, get myself something through that. So please subscribe to me on Twitch. I play Dota 2 mostly with my friends, Fried Rice Frog. If you miss him, often plays with me on Dota 2. But if I get enough requests for Dota 1, I will play it. I am nothing but a servant to all of my fans. So thank you all for watching, and subscribe to me on Twitch and Facebook and YouTube. Facebook is where I usually commonly post my updates. I used to post it on Twitter, but more people seem to see him if I post them on Facebook, so I decided to post a bit more on Facebook. But as always, follow me, and thank you all for watching, and have a fantastic day.